The windshield wipers fought against the relentless downpour as Marcus Chan gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white with tension. Beside him, his 8-year-old daughter Lily hummed softly, completely unbothered by the storm raging outside their small sedan. "Dad, can we get hot cocoa when we get home?" Lily asked, her face pressed against the foggy window. "Sure, sweetheart. With extra marshmallows," Marcus replied, forcing a smile. He was exhausted from his double shift at the fire station, but for Lily, he'd make hot cocoa at 3 in the morning if she asked. The Riverside Bridge loomed ahead through the sheets of rain, its old iron framework barely visible in the darkness. Marcus slowed down, cautious of the slick road. That's when Lily gasped, "Dad, stop!" Marcus's foot slammed on the brake instinctively. What's wrong?" Lily pointed toward the bridge's walkway. Through the rain, illuminated by the pale streetlights, stood a figure on the wrong side of the safety barrier. A woman, completely still, facing the churning river below. Marcus's heart dropped into his stomach. His firefighter training kicked in immediately. He assessed the situation in seconds. Late 20s, wearing what looked like hospital clothes, hair plastered to her head by rain, body language speaking of complete surrender. "Stay in the car, Lily," he commanded, already reaching for his phone. But before he could dial, Lily had unbuckled her seatbelt. "Lily, no." The car door opened, and his daughter was out, her yellow raincoat bright against the gray storm. Marcus's breath caught in his throat as he watched her small figure run toward the bridge. He launched himself out of the car, rain immediately soaking through his shirt. "Lily, get back here." But Lily had already reached the railing, standing about 15 feet from the woman. Marcus approached more slowly, his hands raised in a non-threatening gesture, his mind racing through crisis negotiation protocols he'd learned in training. "Hello." Lily's clear voice cut through the sound of rain. "Are you okay?" The woman's head turned slowly. Even from several feet away, Marcus could see her face was gaunt, her eyes hollow with pain that went far beyond physical. "Go away, little girl," the woman said, her voice rough. "This isn't a place for children." "But you're crying," Lily observed, tilting her head. "When I cry, my dad says it's okay because tears are just feelings that need to come out." "Are your feelings trying to come out?" Marcus reached them, positioning himself between Lily and the woman, but his daughter simply stepped around him. "Lily, honey, come here," he said gently, but firmly. "In a minute, Dad. She needs help." Lily looked back at the woman. "What's your name?" The woman stared at this fearless child, confusion breaking through her mask of despair. "Elena. My name is Elena." "I'm Lily. That's my dad, Marcus. He's a firefighter, so he saves people. It's his job. But I think maybe today we can both save someone together." "I don't want to be saved," Elena whispered, but there was less conviction in her voice now. "Why not?" Lily asked with the straightforward curiosity only a child could manage. Elena's face crumpled. "Because I'm tired. So tired. I've been fighting for 3 years. Leukemia. I just finished my last round of chemotherapy, and the doctors say it didn't work. The cancer is still there. My insurance ran out. My family," she choked on the words. "My family gave up on me 6 months ago. They said I was too expensive, too difficult, too much of a burden." Marcus felt anger surge through him at the thought of anyone abandoning their sick family member, but he kept his voice calm. "Elena, I'm sorry you're going through this, but please come back over the railing. Let's talk." "There's nothing to talk about," Elena said. "I have $37 in my bank account. I'm being evicted tomorrow. I have nowhere to go, no one who cares, and a body that's killing itself. What's the point?" "The point," Lily said seriously, "is that you're wrong about nobody caring, because I care. I just met you, and I already care. And my dad cares. He cares about everybody. Last week, He cried watching a video about a dog that found its family. If he cries about dogs, imagine how much he'd cry if something happened to you. Despite everything, a ghost of a smile flickered across Elena's face. "Your daughter is quite something," she said to Marcus. "She gets it from her mother," Marcus replied, his voice thick with emotion. "My wife died 4 years ago. Cancer, actually. Breast cancer. She fought for 2 years. Lily was only 4 when we lost her." Elena's eyes widened. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Be angry. Be sad. Be whatever you need to be. But don't give up." Marcus took a careful step closer. "Sarah, my wife, she told me something before she died. She said that every day we're alive is a day we can make a difference. Even if it's a small difference. Even if it's just making one person smile." "I'm not your wife," Elena said. "I don't have her strength." "You don't need her strength. You need your own." Marcus paused. "And right now you need to know something important. That clinical trial you probably haven't heard about? Dr. Patricia Morrison at County General Hospital just got approval for a new leukemia treatment. It's experimental, but they're looking for patients who haven't responded to traditional chemo." Elena's head snapped up. "What?" "I know about it because we transported a patient there last week. A 50-year-old man who was in the same position as you. 30 days later, his cancer markers have dropped by 60%. Marcus pulled out his phone, ignoring the rain, and pulled up an article. "Here. Look." Elena stared at the phone screen, squinting through the rain. Marcus could see her hands trembling on the railing. "Why would they accept me? I don't have insurance. I don't have money." "Because Dr. Morrison's program covers costs for patients in financial need. Because sometimes the universe gives us second chances when we need them most." Marcus extended his hand. "Please, Elena, come back over. Let me take you to County General. Let me at least get you warm and dry and in front of someone who can help." "What if it doesn't work?" Elena's voice was small, childlike. "What if I go through all of it again and it still doesn't work?" Lily spoke up. "My mom used to tell me a story about a caterpillar. She said the caterpillar doesn't know it's going to become a butterfly when it goes into its cocoon. It just knows it has to try. And sometimes trying is the bravest thing we can do." Tears streamed down Elena's face, mixing with the rain. "I'm so scared." "Being scared means you're still alive," Marcus said softly. "Being scared means you still have something to fight for. And Elena, you're not alone anymore. I promise you that. Come back over, and I'll prove it." For what felt like an eternity, Elena stood frozen. Then, slowly, so slowly, she began to shift her weight. Her foot moved, then her hand. Marcus moved forward quickly but carefully, helping her over the railing. The moment her feet touched the safe side of the bridge, her legs gave out. Marcus caught her, holding her as she sobbed against his chest. Lily wrapped her small arms around both of them. "You're safe now," Lily whispered. "We won't let anything bad happen to you." County General Hospital's emergency room was buzzing with activity even at 3:30 in the morning. Marcus had wrapped Elena in his jacket and carried her to the car, with Lily holding her hand the entire drive. The ER doctor, Dr. Patel, took one look at Elena and immediately called for a room. While they waited, Marcus used his connections from years of emergency response work to track down Dr. Patricia Morrison. "She's in the hospital now," Marcus explained over the phone. "She's critical. End-stage leukemia, no support system, contemplating suicide. She needs your program." Dr. Morrison arrived within 20 minutes, still in her jogging clothes. She was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and an air of competence that immediately put everyone at ease. "Elena," she said, sitting beside the hospital bed. "Marcus told me about your situation. I want you to know something right now. You are not a burden. You are a human being who deserves to fight for her life. And I'm going to help you do that." Elena's eyes filled with tears again. "I can't pay. I don't care about payment. I care about saving lives. Dr. Morrison pulled up Elena's charts on her tablet. Your cancer is aggressive, yes, but it's also the exact type that's responding incredibly well to our new protocol. I'm talking about combining immunotherapy with targeted gene therapy. It's cutting edge, and you're a perfect candidate. What's the success rate? Marcus asked. 73% remission rate in our current trial group. That's unprecedented for cases like Elena's. Dr. Morrison looked directly at Elena. I won't lie to you. The treatment is intense. You'll feel worse before you feel better. But Elena, you have a real chance. A fighting chance. Elena looked at Lily, who had refused to leave her side. The little girl was drawing on a piece of paper the nurses had given her, her tongue sticking out in concentration. What are you drawing? Elena asked softly. Lily held up the paper. It showed 3 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. This is you, and this is me, and this is my dad. We're a team now. Teams don't give up on each other. Dr. Morrison smiled. Smart kid. She's right, you know. You need a support system. Studies show that patients with strong emotional support have significantly better outcomes. I don't have anyone, Elena said. Marcus exchanged a glance with Lily, who nodded enthusiastically. That's not true anymore. You have us. The first month was the hardest. Elena moved into the spare room in Marcus and Lily's modest 2-bedroom apartment. Marcus had initially worried about the arrangement, but Lily had been adamant. She needs us, Dad, like how I needed you when Mom died. Remember? You said love isn't about blood. It's about showing up. Out of the mouths of babes, Marcus thought. Elena's treatment schedule was grueling. 3 times a week, Marcus would drive her to the hospital for her immunotherapy sessions. On the days when she was too weak to move, Lily would sit with her, reading stories, showing her drawings, or simply holding her hand. You know, Elena said one afternoon, her voice weak from the latest round of treatment, I never wanted kids. I always thought I was too selfish, too focused on my career. She looked at Lily, who was carefully arranging flowers in a vase by her bedside. But watching Lily, seeing how she loved so freely, so fearlessly, I think I was wrong. I think I was just scared. What were you scared of? Lily asked, climbing onto the bed beside her. Of not being enough. Of failing someone who needed me. Lily considered this seriously. But everybody fails sometimes. My dad burns toast like every morning. But he's still the best dad in the world. Being enough isn't about being perfect. It's about trying. Elena laughed, which turned into a cough. When she recovered, she said, When did you get so wise? I'm 8, Lily said matter-of-factly. That's almost 9. You learn a lot in 8 years. Marcus watched from the doorway, his heart full. He'd been terrified of bringing a stranger into their home, into Lily's life. But Elena had fit into their small family like a missing puzzle piece they hadn't known was absent. And if he was being honest with himself, he'd started to feel things he hadn't felt since Sarah died. The way his heart jumped when Elena smiled. The way he found himself thinking about her at work. The way her presence made their apartment feel like a home again instead of just a place where he and Lily existed. 8 weeks into treatment, Elena had her first follow-up scan. Marcus took the day off work to be there. Lily insisted on coming too, wearing her lucky dress, the purple one with butterflies. They sat in Dr. Morrison's office, Elena's hand clasped tightly in Marcus's. He told himself it was just for support, but he knew it was more than that. Dr. Morrison walked in with a smile that made Marcus's heart soar. The cancer markers are down by 48%, she announced. The tumors are shrinking. Elena, this is working. Elena burst into tears. Marcus pulled her into a hug while Lily cheered, jumping up and down. Does this mean she's going to be okay? Lily asked. It means she's fighting and she's winning, Dr. Morrison said. We're not done yet, but this is the best possible news we could have gotten at this stage. That night, they celebrated with pizza and ice cream. Lily made a banner that read "Elena is a superhero" in crayon and hung it in the living room. "You know," Elena said, looking at the banner with tears in her eyes, "6 months ago, I was ready to die. I thought I had nothing. But now—" She looked around at the small apartment, at the lopsided banner, at Lily's beaming face, at Marcus watching her with soft eyes. "Now I have everything." But life, as it does, threw another curveball. 3 months into treatment, Elena's insurance situation caught up with her. Despite Dr. Morrison's program covering the medical costs, Elena's old medical bills from before the trial had gone to collections. They were threatening legal action. Marcus found her crying in the kitchen one night, bills spread across the table. "Elena? What's wrong?" She looked up at him with devastated eyes. "I owe $147,000 in medical debt. They're threatening to garnish any wages I make. Even if I survive this, I'll be buried in debt for the rest of my life. I'll never be able to build a real life. I'll never be free of this." Marcus sat down across from her, studying the bills. His mind was already working through solutions. "First, we're going to talk to a medical debt advocate. Second, there are programs that can help. Third," he took a deep breath. "Third, I have savings. Money I've been keeping for Lily's college fund." "Marcus, no. Absolutely not. I can't let you do that. You're not letting me do anything. I'm choosing to do it." He reached across the table and took her hand. "Elena, when Sarah was sick, strangers helped us. Friends we didn't even know we had came out of the woodwork. One of Sarah's co-workers set up a fundraiser that paid for 3 months of her treatment. A neighbor meal-trained us for 6 months. People we'd never met sent cards and gifts." He squeezed her hand. "Sarah made me promise something before she died. She made me promise that if I ever had the chance to help someone the way we were helped, I would do it. She said that's how we keep love alive in the world. We pass it forward." Elena was crying openly now. "I can't ask you to sacrifice Lily's future. You're not asking, and you're not a sacrifice. You're an investment in something beautiful." He paused, his voice dropping. "Elena, I care about you. More than I probably should, given the circumstances. But I can't pretend anymore. Having you in our lives, it's brought light back into this house. Lily adores you. And I—" He swallowed hard. "I'm falling in love with you." The words hung in the air between them. Elena stared at him, shocked. "Marcus, you can't. I'm sick. I might not survive this. You can't fall in love with someone who might die. Sarah taught me that loving someone is always worth the risk. Even if we only had 3 years, even with all the pain at the end, I would choose to love her again in a heartbeat." He stood up and moved around the table, kneeling beside her chair. "I'm not asking you to love me back. I'm not asking for anything except the chance to be here for you. However you need me, whatever you're comfortable with." Elena cupped his face in her hands. "You beautiful, foolish man. How could I not love you? You and Lily saved my life. You gave me a reason to fight. But Marcus, I'm terrified. What if the cancer comes back? What if I put you and Lily through what you went through with Sarah? Then we'll face it together. That's what families do." "Family?" Elena whispered. "Is that what we are? I think we became a family the moment Lily wouldn't let go of your hand in the hospital." He smiled. "She knew before we did." Elena kissed him then, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they broke apart, they found Lily standing in the doorway of the kitchen, grinning. "Finally!" she exclaimed. "I've been waiting forever for you guys to kiss. It was so obvious." They both laughed, and Elena opened her arms. Lily ran into them, and Marcus wrapped his arms around both of them. But life, as it does, threw another curveball. 3 months into treatment, Elena's insurance situation caught up with her. Despite Dr. Morrison's program covering the medical costs, Elena's old medical bills from before the trial had gone to collections. They were threatening legal action. Marcus found her crying in the kitchen one night, bills spread across the table. "Elena? What's wrong?" She looked up at him with devastated eyes. "I owe $147,000 in medical debt. They're threatening to garnish any wages I make. Even if I survive this, I'll be buried in debt for the rest of my life. I'll never be able to build a real life. I'll never be free of this." Marcus sat down across from her, studying the bills. His mind was already working through solutions. First, we're going to talk to a medical debt advocate. Second, there are programs that can help. Third, he took a deep breath. Third, I have savings. Money I've been keeping for Lily's college fund. Marcus, no. Absolutely not. I can't let you do that. You're not letting me do anything. I'm choosing to do it. He reached across the table and took her hand. "Elena, when Sarah was sick, strangers helped us. Friends we didn't even know we had came out of the woodwork. One of Sarah's co-workers set up a fundraiser that paid for 3 months of her treatment. A neighbor meal-trained us for 6 months. People we'd never met sent cards and gifts." He squeezed her hand. "Sarah made me promise something before she died. She made me promise that if I ever had the chance to help someone the way we were helped, I would do it. She said that's how we keep love alive in the world. We pass it forward." Elena was crying openly now. "I can't ask you to sacrifice Lily's future. You're not asking, and you're not a sacrifice. You're an investment in something beautiful." He paused, his voice dropping. "Elena, I care about you. More than I probably should, given the circumstances. But I can't pretend anymore. Having you in our lives, it's brought light back into this house. Lily adores you. And I." He swallowed hard. "I'm falling in love with you." The words hung in the air between them. Elena stared at him, shocked. "Marcus, you can't. I'm sick. I might not survive this. You can't fall in love with someone who might die. Sarah taught me that loving someone is always worth the risk. Even if we only had 3 years, even with all the pain at the end, I would choose to love her again in a heartbeat." He stood up and moved around the table, kneeling beside her chair. "I'm not asking you to love me back. I'm not asking for anything except the chance to be here for you. However you need me, whatever you're comfortable with." Elena cupped his face in her hands. "You beautiful, foolish man. How could I not love you? You and Lily saved my life. You gave me a reason to fight. But Marcus, I'm terrified. What if the cancer comes back? What if I put you and Lily through what you went through with Sarah? Then we'll face it together. That's what families do." "Family?" Elena whispered. "Is that what we are? I think we became a family the moment Lily wouldn't let go of your hand in the hospital." He smiled. "She knew before we did." Elena kissed him then, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they broke apart, they found Lily standing in the doorway of the kitchen, grinning. "Finally," she exclaimed. "I've been waiting forever for you guys to kiss. It was so obvious." They both laughed, and Elena opened her arms. Lily ran into them, and Marcus wrapped his arms around both of them. The medical debt situation resolved itself in an unexpected way. When Lily's school heard about Elena's situation during a parent-teacher conference, they organized a fundraiser. Started small, just a bake sale and a car wash. But then the local news picked up the story. 8-year-old girl saves stranger, community rallies. Donations poured in. Not just from their community but from across the state. People who'd been touched by the story. People who'd faced similar struggles. People who simply wanted to help. Within 3 weeks, they'd raised enough to cover Elena's debt entirely, plus additional funds to support her recovery. "I can't believe this," Elena said, watching the donation counter climb on the fundraising website. "I went from feeling completely alone to having thousands of strangers rooting for me." "That's because your story matters," Marcus said. "You matter." 6 months after starting treatment, Elena's scans came back completely clear. The cancer was in remission. Dr. Morrison was cautiously optimistic, warning that they'd need to monitor closely for the next 5 years. But the prognosis was better than anyone had dared hope. Elena's hair had started growing back, a soft dark fuzz that Lily loved to pet. "You look like a baby bird," Lily declared. "A very pretty baby bird." With her health improving and the medical debt resolved, Elena started thinking about her future. She'd been a graphic designer before her diagnosis, working freelance from home. Slowly, she began taking on small projects again, rebuilding her portfolio and her confidence. Marcus proposed properly on the 1-year anniversary of the night they met on the bridge. He took Elena and Lily back to that spot, where he'd arranged for the city to install a small memorial bench. It bore a plaque that read, "For those who need a reminder that tomorrow is worth fighting for." He got down on one knee while Lily held a sign that said, "Please marry us." "Elena," Marcus said, his voice shaking with emotion. "A year ago, I thought my family was complete, just me and Lily against the world. But you showed me that families can grow in the most unexpected ways. You showed me that it's possible to love again, to hope again, to believe in miracles again. Will you marry me? Will you officially become part of our family?" Elena said yes through happy tears. Lily cheered so loudly that passing cars honked in celebration. They got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at the hospital chapel. Dr. Morrison officiated, having become ordained online specifically for the occasion. Lily served as both maid of honor and flower girl, taking both roles incredibly seriously. Elena wore a simple white dress with a purple sash, Lily's favorite color. Her hair had grown out into a sleek bob, and though she still got tired easily, her eyes sparkled with life and joy. "I want to say something," Lily announced during the reception, standing on a chair so everyone could see her. "A year and a half ago, my dad and I saw someone who needed help, and some people might think we saved her. But the truth is, Elena saved us too. She taught us that families can be made, not just born. She taught us that love is stronger than cancer. And she taught me that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help." She paused, looking at Elena with serious eyes. "Elena, you're not just my stepmom. You're my friend, my hero, and the person who showed me that miracles are real. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for choosing to stay. Thank you for being part of our family." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. 5 years later, Elena remained cancer-free. The 5-year mark was significant, Dr. Morrison explained, because it meant the chances of recurrence dropped dramatically. They celebrated at the bridge where it all began. The city had embraced their story, and the bench had become a local landmark. People left flowers there, notes, small tokens. It had become a symbol of hope for the community. "Do you ever think about that night?" Marcus asked, holding Elena's hand as they sat on the bench. "Every day," Elena replied, "but not with sadness anymore, with gratitude, because that was the night my real life began." Lily, now 13 and already showing signs of becoming a formidable young woman, was busy taking photos for her photography class. "This is going to be perfect," she said, lining up a shot of her parents with the bridge in the background. The story of how one rainy night changed everything. Elena had gone on to write a book about her experience, titled The Girl in the Yellow Raincoat. It had become a bestseller, with all proceeds going to help other cancer patients in financial need. She'd also started a foundation called Second Chances, which connected suicidal individuals with support systems and medical resources. Marcus had been promoted to fire captain, and he often spoke at suicide prevention events, sharing their story in hopes of helping others. But perhaps the most significant change came when Elena and Marcus were able to announce, against all odds, that they were expecting a baby. The pregnancy was high risk given Elena's medical history, but Dr. Morrison was cautiously optimistic. "Another miracle," Elena said, her hand on her small baby bump. "Not a miracle," Lily corrected, wise beyond her years. Just love doing what love does. Creating more love. 10 years after that rainy night on the bridge, the Kane family stood together at the annual Walk for Hope, an event organized by Elena's foundation. Marcus, Elena, Lily, now 18 and heading to college to study medicine, and their 7-year-old son, James, walked at the front of a crowd of thousands. Elena had been cancer-free for 10 years. The doctors officially declared her cured. She'd written 3 more books, her foundation had helped over 10,000 people, and the bench on the bridge had become a pilgrimage site for people struggling with suicidal thoughts. "Mom," James said, tugging on Elena's hand. "Tell me the story again. About the night you met Lily." Elena smiled, picking up her son. "Well, it was a dark and stormy night." As she told the story, Marcus watched his family, his heart full. He thought about that night, about the split-second decision to stop the car, about Lily's fearless compassion, about Elena's courage to choose life. Life hadn't been easy. Elena had bad days, PTSD from her trauma, chronic health issues from the aggressive treatment. But they faced it all together as a family. "What are you thinking about?" Elena asked, noticing his expression. "About how one moment can change everything. About how choosing to show up for someone can save not just their life, but your own. About how Lily was right from the very beginning." "About what?" "That love is the strongest medicine. That hope is contagious. That sometimes angels come in small packages." Elena kissed him, soft and sweet. "And sometimes firefighters in wet clothes are actually the angels." Lily, walking ahead with a group of volunteers, looked back at her parents and smiled. She thought about that night often, about the woman on the bridge, about her innocent question that had started it all. She'd learned something important that night, something she carried with her always. Every person matters. Every life has value. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is reach out your hand to a stranger and say, "I won't let you fall," because in the end, we're all just people trying to make it through the storm. And we all need someone willing to stop their car, get out in the rain, and remind us that we're not alone. The walk continued, thousands of feet moving forward together, a wave of hope spreading through the city. And on the bridge where it all began, the bench sat waiting, its plaque gleaming in the sunlight, a permanent reminder that tomorrow is always worth fighting for.